Hey guys.
Hello! So we were given a silhouette portrait, which is that cutter right here. So it's kind of like a printer, but instead of printing, it cuts. And so a lot of the folks out there use the silhouette portrait for making crafts, like arts and crafts, and they do a lot of
Dirty scrapbookers.
they do a lot of scrapbooking. So I wanted to do something that was non-scrapbooky. And one of my projects was a paper tape reader and slash maker. And the reason I got into that was because I was thinking, what has a lot of holes that would be super inconvenient to cut by like hand and scissors or whatever. And I'm like, yep, paper tape. I wouldn't want to cut all those holes. So I thought making a punch card would be kind of cool, and that's what I did. Whisker made a program that takes text, whatever you type in, and gives you a BMP of the holes and such, as you can see from these here. And that BMP can then be uploaded into Silhouette and then cut. So once you cut it, you'll end up with something like this, which some of the holes may not be completely punched out. They're kind of like hanging chads.
Yeah. You elect the wrong person.
Yeah. So just, make sure you clean those out. But once I got those done, we had a test fit, make sure that the reader that we created would work with the paper tape. And so the reader that we created is mostly from scrap wood, actually. Scrap black walnut wood, scrap wires that were laying around. And one side of this contraption is photoresistors, so cadmium cells. And then the other side is a bank of LEDs. So if you can see that. And it's pretty simple, just 3mm LEDs. And then they're tight, they're snug fit into the wood. And then these go to a breadboard that's located on the propeller Board of Education, which is connected to a resistor array. And essentially it's based on the idea that
9 voltage dividers, basically.
Right.
Where the cadmium cells are 1/2 of the voltage divider, and the other half are those resistors. What value are they?
10K, I think.
10K.
Yep, 10K ohms. So with enough light, the propeller registers it as a 1. Without light, it registers it as a 0. And so Whisker wrote some code that pretty much takes what the cadmium cells sense and turns it into the ASCII translation, right? So
the only tricky part about it was making it wait until the index hole goes high,
right,
and then reading the other 8.
Right. So if you look at some of these versions, the index holes are different sizes because we had to test different ones to try to prevent false positives and false readings. So we ended up coming up with a super tiny index hole that worked pretty well, and then also added some debouncing function into the code. So I am going to show it working, if that is cool with you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put this working version that we have in to our reader through a little slot. And you can see that the FTDI chip is sending out that information that it's reading every single time it senses that the index pulse, this tiny little hole, is lit. And that's again just by reading a photoresistor and seeing if it's on or off. Alright, so I've got the Silhouette Studio program up here, and this is what you use to talk to the Silhouette cutter. And this is the tape that I'm going to cut, and we're going to do it by using the Silhouette back backer thing here, and it's essentially just a piece of plastic with sticky stuff on it. And then here is a old folder that I cut up, and we are going to turn this into essentially a punch card. So I'm gonna stick this in here. Okay, we're gonna feed it in. Alright. And then watch the magic. Oh, I gotta make sure I got the settings here. We are cutting cardstock. Okay. Gonna do double cut. Now we're sending it. Okay, so it's done. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask it to give it back. And then we're gonna take it off the backing here. Boop. Alright folks, not gonna lie, it's a little difficult with just one hand. Okay, but you see some of it's stuck behind, and that's fine, because that's less cleaning up for us to do, and then some of course has that hanging Chad business that we've got to take care of. So, but essentially once you clean it, then you can pretty much use it as a punch card, and that took only a few minutes. Yeah. That's the paper tape reader and maker, and you could eventually combine a whole bunch of these cards to form paper tape, or you could actually just make these into like little cards in and of themselves. And I'm tempted to do that for our hackerspace, but we'll see.
We post videos all the time, so don't forget to subscribe. And follow us on Twitter at TYMKRS.